And a very pleasant good afternoon to our latest Facebook family and friends. Welcome into the Spotlight. My name is Drew Brent. Thanks so much for joining us here today. We have a very special guest in studio. Can't wait to have that conversation. But if you're in the market for buying or selling your home, give us a call, 479-968-5668, or cruise on over to russellvilleliving.com. Our guest today, the Honorable Mayor of Russellville, Mr. Richard Harris. Mayor Harris, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for carving out time. Running a city is no easy task, so I appreciate you being here.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. I really do.
Mayor, I believe that one of the key conversations that we need to have today is just to talk about the positive aspects of what's happening in Russellville right now. Because despite the pandemic and despite some difficulties, there really are some good things happening, aren't there?
There's some great things happening in Russellville. There really are. It's a community we need to be proud of, and proud of those who are involved. But we're moving in the right direction. Have been and will continue to be.
One of the key things that you and I were talking about off air has been economic development, and I know that it's a bit of a political catchphrase, if you will, among some folks, but really and truly it is the lifeblood of any city. Talk a little bit about what's happening behind the scenes, if you can, about where we are as far as economic development and where we may be going.
You know, there's so many elements to economic development, and it means so many different things to different people depending on your perspective. But one of the things that we've done in the last year is, and this has really been initiated out of the Alliance to a large extent, is looking at workforce development. And so we had Paul Harville during the COVID pandemic, when the chamber was kind of shut down. We had started working on workforce development in our community. And the reason that's so important, Drew, is because we've got industry in our community right now who need employees, and so they've been asking, how can we develop the workforce in our community to fill the needs that the employers have. We have a great broad-based industrial atmosphere in Russellville, and we've got industries that need employees all the time, and they need them now. So Paul decided late last year to commission a study by a group out of North Carolina, on how do we need to implement workforce development in Russellville, Arkansas. That study was released at the end of last year. Ted Abernathy, who pulled that study together, came in and did a presentation, and he's developed, based upon our economics in our community, he's interviewed industrial partners and business leaders in our community, what we need. He's put together what we call building a regional workforce advantage. And I don't know if this will show very well on your screen, but this is the package that we got out of that study. He looked at the demographics, he looked at the economics of our community, and he's developed a strategic plan that we can follow now to help our industrial partners and our business partners in developing a workforce. There's about 9 or 10 strategic opportunities that we can follow, and some of those are pretty low-hanging fruit that we're working on right now trying to implement. Some of them are larger scale and take more time to put together.
Certainly.
And that's going to take more time and more planning and more funding. So we're looking to get moving on that right now. We've got a meeting next week, in fact, to start implementing the first phase of this. It's a big issue, not only in our community, but in other communities as well, and across the nation. So we want to try to get ahead of it and put together a workforce development package where we can reach out to the community and help get those employees in. We're working with Arkansas Tech University, UACCM in Morrilton. Again, the industrial leaders in our community are a major part or player of this. We're going to be reaching out to the schools districts within our community to get them involved so that we can help channel and funnel our young people into the career path of choice. And that doesn't always mean going to a 4-year institution.
Right.
And there are different stages along that path that they can take and branch off of into the working environment. So I'm pretty excited about what we have, something now that we can work off of. And I think that's going to be important to our community going forward.
What does implementation of that look like moving forward? Are we looking at a timetable of being fairly immediate, or is this 6 months down the road? How far along do we think this might take?
Right. Well, you know, one of the I'm just the way I'm built is I don't like to talk about things and
Right.
talk about things and talk about. I like to take action. So I'm pushing the group very hard and fast to get the first element in place within the next few months.
Excellent.
And so there's, like I said, there's a meeting next week where we're looking at, one of the things we're looking at is implementing career coaches within our school system and in our community. These career coaches would then take someone not only maybe in high school, but also maybe someone who's been displaced. Give them a vision of what career opportunities we have in the River Valley, what education or skill set they would need to fill those needs, and then point them in the direction of how to get that done. Different from a high school counselor who maybe has a little bit different perspective. A career coach is really focused on partnering with industrial partners in our community and our business leaders and finding out what their needs are, what programs they have, what their educational requirements are, and then giving that information to young people, and then they then can decide what career path they want, and they know exactly what they need to do, and then this person would help guide them through that process to get them into the industry of choice. And so we're looking at maybe trying to get someone in place for that within the next few months to get the first person in place in our community to start putting that program together.
I'm talking with Mayor Richard Harris, the city of Russellville. If you've got questions, you can drop those in the comments section below. And again, if you are interested in buying or selling your home, give us a call, 479-968-5668. I want to continue along the same lines of what you were talking about, Mayor, but tie it into some of the events of last year. Navigating the entire pandemic for the world was the struggle was real, to put it lightly. Do you see the city of Russellville being able to navigate post-COVID in a way that would develop that workforce and then see potentially an economic development boom?
Absolutely, absolutely. Russellville was unique in a lot of respects. So they just said we're primarily industrial based. If you and those who in our community looked last year during the worst part of the COVID pandemic last year, if you went by Lowe's and Walmart, you saw the parking lots full. Why do you think that is? Well, part of that's the stimulus money that the government provided. But at the same time that the government is handing out these checks, the citizens of Russellville are working at our industrial plants, and they're working overtime because our industrial partners had to ramp up production to meet the needs and the demands during the COVID pandemic. So when you have a family that's working 40 plus hours a week and they know they've got a paycheck coming at the end of each week, and then the government gives them a big check, then it's found money, and they are ready to go spend it. And so the tax revenue in the county and the city was up last year above projections, and we see that continuing now that the COVID pandemic is over. That's just continuing, and the economy's opening up, and so there's even going to be more vitality in our economy than we had last year. So it is definitely, while it was a struggle to a lot of businesses, and some did fail, and I hate that that we lost businesses in Russellville. But on the other side, there was a lot of positives as well that came out of that in relation to economic prosperity in our community.
Something else that came out of last year, the I Love Russellville campaign, and I see it everywhere. I mean, we're seeing it on the murals. I'm seeing it on coffee mugs. I'm seeing it on socks. Talk about the success of the I Love Russellville campaign.
Well, I tell you, I'm going to give all the credit to Christy Graham, our A&P director, for that campaign. And there may be others that work with her, but she's the one that brought it to me. And there was a couple years ago, there was a lot of negativity in our community, and there's a lot of divisiveness. And Christy saw through the fog of that and said, we've got a great community, and we want to tout that. We know people love this community, no matter which side of the fence you're on. People love this community, and so she started pushing forth the I Heart Russellville campaign. And what it did was it just brought us through that and said, regardless of the differences, regardless of our political opinions and aspirations, we all care about the community.
Exactly.
And this is the thing that shows that, and this is the thing that pulls us together. And I think it's been a really positive thing for our community, because people do love Russellville, regardless of what you think is the next best thing for our community. And as you've seen it's on the water tower that we have now here in town, and you'll see it in different venues in a mural that we have, over on Denver and things of that nature. So it's been a very positive thing for our community.
And as we were mentioning, there are positive things that are happening in the community right now. We had Danielle Hausnick from Main Street Russellville on a few weeks ago, and it looks like concerts may be coming back a little bit, and for the potential of the post COVID-19 world. What are the best parts of this community? If you're looking at moving here, or if you're just living here and maybe unaware, in your mind, Mayor, what makes this a great community?
Well, a couple of things. One is the amenities. I mean, all you have to do is drive around Russellville to see what we have to offer with the lakes, the mountains, the rivers, the streams, the hiking trails, the biking trails, and things of that nature. I mean, that if you want to move to an area where you have ample opportunity to get in the outdoors and enjoy things, obviously it's very easy to see that from our community. But also, Russellville offers an infrastructure that will facilitate business needs. With the things that we offer here, we've got an interstate right next door to us, and the exit splits our city. We have a rail line that comes through our city. We have a local airport. We also have a commercial airlines that's only 88 miles away. We have a lot of things that if, as a business, if you want to prosper, if you want to have the facilities you need, we offer that. But we also offer the outdoors and the environment in which you can thrive.
Exactly. More with Mayor Richard Harris in just a moment. I want to just remind you that if you're interested in buying or selling your home, give us a call, 479-968-5668, or you can drop questions in the comments section below. Mayor, let's backtrack to a couple of years ago. I have often said this, and I've said this to you, that I think you may have inherited the heaviest plate of any mayor coming into office. From then to now, how have you seen the city improve, and how do you feel now as compared to then?
Well, a lot of it's personal growth because when I became his mayor, obviously I knew a lot, but I didn't know how to be a mayor. And so there was a growth period there and how to work through that. And I told someone the other day, I hope I'm a better mayor today than I was 2 years ago. And I hope I'm a better mayor 2 years than I am today. So that's part of the equation. The other part is, as we went through some of the challenges in my first year in office, which had to do with business climate. We had some other issues in our community, the river flood and things of that nature. We challenged through that. And of course, then in 2020 we had the pandemic.
The pandemic, right?
But you struggle through. You just put your nose to the wind and you keep moving forward. And that's what we try to do as a community, to put our nose to the wind, keep moving forward. And right now, 2021 is looking pretty bright for us, and we just take advantage of that. Now we get the wind at our back, and we take advantage and we go forward.
What does the rest of 2021 look like for the city of Russellville?
I think it looks, as I said, I think it looks really good. We've got, one of the things that I mentioned, the workforce development. Late last year when this came out, and I got real excited about this package that we've just talked about. But I talked to the chamber, Paul Harville, and I said, look, this is a great tool, but this is only part of the package. We need, as a community, a total economic development package. We need to develop us an economic development strategy for our community that we all know what it looks like, we all know where we're going, and we all can get behind with a lot of synergy to go forward. So he took that to, and I requested, he took it to the Alliance, and we have commissioned the same firm that developed this workforce development package to develop an economic development package for our community, of which workforce development is one aspect. So that's ongoing right now, and we're expecting that to be completed in June or July of this year. So I'm excited, not only in how we're doing economically, and coming out of this COVID issue, and people are starting to get out more and travel more and do other things. But once we get this economic development strategy and we start publicizing, we get the community bought into this, think of what we could do. Rather than everyone going off in different directions, doing their own thing to try to improve Russellville, what if we all came together and started working in the same direction? And that's what my goal and that's what I'm hoping will happen from the economic development strategy that we're commissioned at this point in time, and when it comes out in July. And we've got to get it, we've got to review it, make sure it fits our needs. But if it's half as good as what I see in this package here for workforce development, I think it's something that we'll be excited about and help our community not only in the near future but in the long term.
In the perfect world scenario, Mayor, what does that total economic strategy look like in your mind?
Well, we all want, and I hear this all the time, we have a university, one of the largest universities in the state, in our city, and we put out engineers, we put out nursing students, IT, et cetera, and then those students leave our community
Right.
to go off and find better paying jobs. And so I think one of the things that I see is this economic development package doing is showing us how we can keep those students, keep those young people in our community so that they can live and prosper and thrive here for generations. And so I think that's what we all desire, and I think that's what we'll get out of this. That's one of my visions for this.
Mayor, some parting words for the folks who are watching today. If they're thinking about moving here or if they currently live here, what's your message to the folks of Russellville today?
Oh my gosh, you ask anyone who's moved to Russellville, who's come into Russellville from another part of the country or anywhere else, and they'll tell you we have the nicest people that live in our community, the best support system that you can find anywhere. You combine that with the nature that surrounds our community and the infrastructure that we have here and the vision that we have for our community going forward, the educational opportunities. I don't know how you can find a better place to live.
Not to mention the best food around.
Exactly. Great food.
Can you
and the cost of living here is very reasonable when you compare it to other parts of the country. So you can't lose by coming to Russellville.
And not a bad way to end that sentence, especially on a realty TV show. So thank you for that very much, Mayor. Mayor Richard Harris, our guest, thank you so much for coming on with us, sir.
You, sir. You bet. Thank you.
We can have you on again soon.
Certainly.
All right, absolutely, folks. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Spotlight. Tomorrow, the 2020 Citizen of the Year, Jimmy Street, stops by to chat with us. Coming up on Monday, Dardanelle Mayor Jimmy Witt, and then Rashad Woods coming up a little bit later next week to talk about Yellfest. So we will see you right back here tomorrow on the Spotlight. My name is Drew Brent. Have a wonderful afternoon, folks.